At the half, 31-20. To get inside the huddle of your favorite Big East team, go online at www.bigeast.org for all the basketball and conference news from around the Big East. Second half mark, Eric Clark with 3 fouls will not start. Instead, Alvidas Tennyson for Rutgers.
Obviously, that's going to loom large if Tennyson cannot get the job done, and Clark has to come in straddled with those 3 fouls.
And Hodgson with the reach around to steal the ball to Johnson. Up the floor, it's Greer. So Greer, Johnson, Hodgson, Tennyson, Billett for Rutgers. Blackwell, Bergen, Thomas, Giannoulis, and Hart for Syracuse. And the Orange start out in the man-to-man defense to begin the second half.
And again, Rutgers doing a great job taking their time on offense. That's why they're so hard to come back from when they're up 11.
Tennyson with the ball fake. Now in the lane to Johnson.
Tennyson not known for his assist capabilities, had nowhere to go. And again, Johnson very comfortable in the paint.
That was Tennyson's 8th assist of the year. So 13-point Rutgers lead. The Knights have led by as many as 21. Rutgers 11-13 on the year, 5-11 in the Big East inside Thomas, and he will be fouled from behind and get to the line to shoot a pair.
You know, why not, Bob? Get the ball to Thomas. He was the toughest matchup for this Rutgers team. Only had 6 touches in the first half. When he touched the ball, he was very successful. We mentioned now Syracuse at the line with only a minute to go in the second half. They average about 24 or 25 foul shots a game, and they've only taken 4. They're playing all perimeter, and that's not the way the Syracuse team has won 20 wins this year.
Foul on Greer is his second. As we get a look at Etan Thomas, 6'9", 231-pound sophomore from Booker T. Washington High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He is 4th in the country in block shots, leads the Big East in that department. As a matter of fact, he's averaging 4.6 block shots per Big East game, and that's the best in the conference since a fellow by the name of Alonzo Mourning played at Georgetown.
Who?
Lonzo's still playing basketball, isn't he?
I think so.
Last I looked.
Very well.
Matter of fact, Lonzo, same number as Thomas. And as you mentioned, Syracuse assistant Bernie Fine suggested we'll see Thomas in that league someday too. Hodgson drives, lays it in, draws the foul. He's got 16. The lead is 14, and a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, here's a guy, nothing flashy, Bob. A hop, a skip, and a jump, and takes it with the left again. A good call. Blackwell did come across, and you can see the strength of Hodgson right there to keep the ball and go to the left. Great job.
Foul on Blackwell will be his first. And Hodgson makes the 3-point play. So it is again a 15-point Rutgers lead. On the left, it's Bergen. Giannoulis comes behind the screen. Hart underneath Blackwell all alone. Good look from Hart.
Rutgers lost Blackwell in the back, got a good screen away from the ball, but that's where Syracuse needs to focus, Bob. Down low in the paint, inside out to chip away at this deficit.
4 points for Blackwell. Lead is 13 for Rutgers. This is Johnson. Hodgson defended on the perimeter by Blackwell. Giannoulis knocks it out of bounds. Rutgers ball with 17 left in the shot clock. After tonight, Rutgers will close out the regular season a week from today at Villanova. Then it's on to the Big East tournament beginning March 4th in New York. Kevin Bannon, very successful coach at Trenton State, then at Rider, now here at Rutgers. He keeps moving north in New Jersey, Mark. What's next, the Nets?
Working his way up the turnpike. Maybe.
I think the Nets are Seton Hall on the ground. The way Tommy Amaker has the Pirates going, I don't think there's going to be a vacancy there anytime soon. Here's a reach-in foul on Syracuse, and will be number 3 on Jason Hart.
Interesting series of events right there. Jason Hart really working hard on the defense. He had fallen down, and then a second had ticked off, and the referee made the call.
So Hart and Giannoulis, the starting back court for Syracuse, each with 3 fouls. Off the inbound pass in the forecourt, Syracuse goes zone. This is Tennyson at the baseline. He'll take the jumper.
That's what he's comfortable doing, and a lot of times it'll get the hook, but not that time. 15 feet, nothing but net.
So Tenise with 4. He's playing because Clark is on the bench with 3 fouls. The lead again is 15 for Rutgers. This is Blackwell. Kick out to Bergen for 3. Got it, and the foul, a chance for a 4-point play. The foul on Billett.
First time in a long time, Bob, we've seen good ball movement with the guys in the orange shirt. That time the ball did not just stay on the perimeter. Inside out, Blackwell to Bergen, and was he ready to shoot? Right in rhythm, knocks it down. Didn't matter who was contesting him.
8 points now for Bergen. First foul on Billett, 2 on Rutgers this half. Bergen misses the free throw. Rebound, last touch by Syracuse. So the lead is now 12. We've played nearly 3 minutes second half. This is the 28th meeting between these two schools. Syracuse leads the series 22-5.
You get the feeling the Syracuse team is kind of like a golf cart with the governor cap still on. They're waiting to explode.
Billett off the give and go from Tenise will go baseline. Look for the kick out. Johnson. Here's Tenise. Can he hit it again? Won't get a better look than that. And Billett with the silly foul. He tried to anticipate the pass and step in, and he didn't anticipate very well. Instead, the collision.
Good job by Hart coming back to the ball. Very fundamentally sound. If he had not come back to that pass, Billett would have been in the passing lane for a steal.
Billett, like his coach, a New Jersey guy. Billett from Middletown. Kevin Bannon from Verona, New Jersey. Played collegiately at St. Peter's. This is Bergen, comes around the screen, fakes Greer in the air, then goes around him and lays it up. Can't get it to go, but he will get to the line.
That is why this guy is so tough to cover, especially in the college level at 6'7". He takes a set shot, Bob, so you never know when he throws that fake whether or not he's going to shoot or not, because that's his style. As soon as he shows the ball and Greer leaves his feet, he has the quickness to get to the rim.
Foul on Hodgson, his second. Rutgers already with 14 fouls this half as Bergen hits the first, and Sam Sanders checks in for Rutgers, replacing Jeff Greer. Bergen, a 6'7", 230-pound senior, went to Pershing High School in Detroit, also prepped at New Hampton Prep. Fellow by the name of Lawrence Moten did the same thing. Moten, the leading scorer in Syracuse history. Here comes Rutgers as the crowd tries to provide a lift as Syracuse is pulled within 10. Johnson gives to Billett, right sideline, gets a screen from Hodgson. Dribbles with the left. Billett, a member of the Big East All-Rookie team 2 years ago when he was a freshman. Johnson made the Big East All-Rookie team last year. Down low Tenise. In the lane, Sanders stripped by Yanulis. Gives to Blackwell on the right to Hart. Tried to kick out and installed it by Hodgson. Sanders all alone. Look out!
He didn't know what he was going to do. Took off just inside the Big East from the foul line in the paint. That'll get the people up here at the rack.
Now Sanders has 4 points and both field goals the similar shot variety. And Hodgson with the step in stole it, but Tenise couldn't save it along the baseline. And we're going to get a timeout. 15:34 to go. And Sam Sanders has given his Scarlet Knights of Rutgers a 12-point lead over the country's 17th ranked team. It's Rutgers by a dozen. Rob Hodgson is 9th in all-time steals at Rutgers, and he's moving closer to 8th with the last 2 possessions.
He's very active, but no one guy can hold a team to 38% from the floor, as this Rutgers team is doing here at the rack. But Rod Hodgson 2 times in a row in the right place, and Sanders taking it right to the rim. I would have had 3 or 4 more dribbles myself, Bob, before I laid that ball up and in.
Sanders has that shot down pat, doesn't he? So following the timeout, it's Syracuse with the ball down a dozen. And this is Hart, defended by Johnson. Clark still on the bench with 3 fouls. Yanulis and Hart playing with 3 each, and Hart gets the pass from Yanulis. Missed the layup, but he will get to the line.
Missed the easy bunny after the nice backdoor cut. Tenise, second too late, got away. That should have been an easy 3-point play. Good job by Billett shutting down Yanulis, and then there's the back door. Johnson got left out to dry and missing the easy layup. You can't afford to do that when you're down 12 at the opposition's home court.
Foul on Tenise, his first. Rutgers getting in some team foul trouble here. They already have 5 team fouls less than 5 minutes into the second half. Jason Hart, 6'3", 177-pound sophomore from Inglewood High School in Los Angeles. Last year became the first freshman to ever lead the Big East in minutes played. Also made the all-rookie team.
Interesting right there, Todd Bergen using his senior intelligence, getting inside the head of Tenise. If I'm Kevin Bannon, I maybe want to take Eric Clark off the bench next couple of minutes before something brews up.
Now here we see Syracuse trying to trap in the half-court defense. Johnson throws up the jumper. Foot was on the line. It's a 2. And the lead's a dozen.
Well, that's what Jimmy Boeheim wanted with the double-team trap, the scrambling traps. A quick shot, but Johnson able to convert.
And Johnson now has 10. This is Bergen, defended by Sanders and pushed by Sanders. Number 2 on Sanders and number 6 on the team. Now, Syracuse on the year marked 65.9% from the line as a team. They're going to have a lot of opportunities here in the second half to improve on that. They're going to be shooting a lot of free throws.
Which is what we missed in the first half with only 4 attempts. They're taking the ball strong to the hole off the dribble.
And that's what Bergen did right there. Sanders stripped him. It's loose on the floor. And what are we going to have here? A held ball. The possession arrow is pointing toward Rutgers. Will be Rutgers' ball.
The referee's having a little conversation with both players. I think they called a foul on Bergen right here. Good job by Sanders, and Bergen coming over the top. Sanders trying to call the timeout. I don't think Todd Bergen thought he was going to be called for a foul until he heard it on the PA.
So Bergen with his second personal. 3 on Syracuse. The official attendance tonight, 8,566. That would be a sellout on senior night. Final home game of the season for the Scarlet Knights. Hodgson, nice feed inside to Tenise. Juggled the pass and laid it in anyway.
Well, Hodgson's been the guy to take his time. He has the composure on the offensive end. Simple ball fake, and then Tenise able to convert.
So Syracuse had cut it to 10. Now it's back up to 14. Tenise with a half dozen. Nice spin move by Blackwell. He's doubled, and the pass is stolen.
Great team defense by the white jerseys.
Fill it up the floor. 4 on 3. Pull-up jumper. Rebound in the lane, Bergen. And Bergen will bring it across the timeline himself. Griffin will check into the lineup for Syracuse at the next opportunity. Bergen for 3. Rebound Hodgson.
Legs a little wary right there. Rutgers doing a good job on this end of the court, making Bergen play defense.
This is Johnson correcting traffic. Defended by Hart. He's already got 3 fouls. Johnson, low post feed. Tenise fakes one way, goes the other. And are we going to get a foul on Thomas? Number 2 on Eton. Number 4 on Syracuse this half.
Hey, take a look at, watch Sam Sanders right there, Bob. You can barely see him. He screened Thomas first, and then Tenise trying the up and under move. I'm not so sure this isn't the jump ball. Tenise shuffling the feet as well. Maybe Rutgers getting away with one there.
So Tenise at the line makes the first. 6'11", 235-pound sophomore from Vichnay, Lithuania, is 13th in the Big East in block shots. Griffin returns for Syracuse. Yanulis will sit down. Tenise has 7 points off the bench. I'm not sure Kevin Bannon expected that production.
I'm not sure if Eric Clarkson will get back in here anytime soon.
It's senior night. You got to put him back in.
Well, let him stay there with his 3 fouls until you get down to 10 minutes. Good 3 minutes away. More than I'm sure Kevin Bannon thought he'd have the luxury to sit his senior down.
Tenise 1 of 2 from the line. The lead is 15 for Rutgers. Bergen behind the back dribble. Kick out to Hart. On the left, Griffin. Defended by Johnson. Here's Bergen again. Nice feed inside Thomas. He's doubled. And he was fouled. It was Johnson on one side, Tenise on the other. And I think they got Johnson with the personal.
As Thomas matures and grows in the Big East, he's going to do more of this, demand the basketball. He's got 3 defenders, but he has excellent footwork and great vertical leap on that jumping ability. That's going to have him at the foul line a lot more times in his career.
13 minutes to go. And Rutgers already over the limit. Johnson sits down with his second, but that was the 7th team foul. So Syracuse will be shooting the 1-and-1 Eton Thomas. Makes the first. He'll get another one. And Eric Clark will return. Tenise departs and gets a great ovation. Why not? He was terrific.
I'm not so sure we're not going to see more of Tenise. A good substitution at the 12:58 point. You have a TV timeout coming in less than a minute. Sit down the big guy and hope Eric Clark does not pick up the sport.
Syracuse shot just 4 free throws in the first half, made them all. This is their 9th attempt this half, and they've made 7 of them.
I'm a little surprised Syracuse is not going to full court pressure right now. Jeff Billard, not one of the best ball handlers. Earl Johnson not on the court. Try to pick up the tempo.
Billard, of course, played the point his first 2 years here. Here's Hart with the steal. 2-on-1 with Griffin, and Hart will be fouled by Greer. He'll shoot a couple. That's 18 fouls on Rutgers this half and 3 fouls on Greer. So Greer and Clark for Rutgers, Giannoulis and Hart for Syracuse, all with 3 fouls.
Well, this started all on the defensive end. Syracuse running the break too close, not enough spacing, so Hart does a good job taking it and creating the foul himself.
So Hart makes the first. Now, Mark, you saw the first game between these two teams up at the Carrier Dome. Hart was terrific that night, had 10 assists.
Absolutely. It was a different game. Early on, Syracuse came out firing on all cylinders. All 5 guys had double digits early in the game before the first half ended. But then they kind of took a lull, and Rutgers took advantage of it much the same way they are here on the defensive end first, Bob.
And this man here, Billa, had a chance to force overtime, missed the 3 at the buzzer. And here's Griffin with the reach-in foul from behind. That would be the 15th foul on Syracuse this half.
You have to pick and choose where you're going to really play that aggressive defense. At half court, you have all 3 referees staring at you. It doesn't matter how much Jimmy Boeheim is working them on the sideline. You're way outside in the spotlight. They're going to call that foul.
Second foul on Griffin. And here's the steal by Griffin. He'll have an easy layup. Well, it wasn't all that easy, but it was a layup.
Syracuse picking up the defensive intensity. Jumping in the passing lane. Good job.
So this is the closest that Syracuse has been since falling behind by 21. They're now down 9. Kevin Bannon wants a 20-second timeout with 12:10 to go. Mark, Kevin Bannon told me that all he wanted to do this year was take a couple of steps forward, and I think we've done that, although he's very discouraged by what happened in the last 2 games, losing at BC and at Seton Hall. As we look at the Big East 7 standings, Miami, team on the bubble, you think?
I do. I really think they got 3 games left. You know, Miami ends up their season a week from tonight against West Virginia at home. That may be the game that decides the bubble, whether or not they go to the big dance or the not invited tournament, as we used to call it, the NIT.
Yeah. Seton Hall at 13-12 with a chance to get in the NIT, and that would be a big positive step for Tommy Amaker as we look at the steal by the freshman Griffin.
Hodgson took his eye off his teammate. Jeff Billard assumed that Griffin was going to be back playing defense. Good job jumping into the passing lane.
So Miami, if they get a couple more wins in the regular season, then maybe another 1 or 2 in the Big East tournament, and they might be in the NCAA tournament. It would seem that 4 teams in the Big East are locks. Syracuse, St. John's, West Virginia, and UConn. Matter of fact, the Big East, the only conference in the country with 4 teams with 20 wins.
Yeah, when you get to 20, Bob, it's almost an assurance that you're going to be one of the at-large bids. 19 for Miami might be enough. 20 would be definitely enough.
And Jason Hart has just picked up his 4th foul, and we have a timeout. 11:51 to go in the ball game. Rutgers leads Syracuse by 9. You're watching Big East basketball. And a 21-point lead for Rutgers is now down to 9, a little less than 12 minutes to go in the second half. Out of town tonight in the Big East, 7th-ranked UConn has opened up its lead over Villanova 12 second half. This afternoon, the Big East, Pittsburgh winning at home over Providence, and Georgetown beating Boston College. Top-ranked North Carolina stunned at home today by NC State. Number 18 Cincinnati. Look at that. That's a final, huh? DePaul scored 38 points. Number 13 South Carolina win over Florida. And Princeton rolls on. Number 25 Rhode Island trailing Dayton second half. Following the timeout, Clark inside. Nice feed from Johnson.
Always good to come out of a timeout with a solid down-low shot. Good penetration by Johnson.
DePaul 38 points in the whole ball game, Mark. I had a chance to see them last week against Georgetown. Scored more than 38 that day, but Pat Kennedy has signed a big recruiting class for next year, and he'll turn that program around. This is Hart, who's playing with 4 personal fouls with 11 minutes to go. Takes the 3. Rebound in the lane, loose on the floor. Still loose. And we're going to get a held ball. Possession arrow pointing toward Rutgers.
Eric Clark spent a lot of time on the bench. Here, Earl Johnson able to beat Griffin off the dribble right to the rim when he catches it, not allowing Thomas to get that left hand up and swat it away.
Clark, one of the 2 seniors still in uniform for Rutgers. They had another player who has been out all year with a medical problem, Ramos St. James. And off the missed shot, we will get a foul on Rutgers. It will be Sanders, and he has picked up his 3rd, and that's 9 team fouls. So Syracuse not only going to be shooting a lot of free throws, but from here on in, the next foul will be the 10th, and everything will be a 2-shot situation.
Obviously, that's going to extend the game, and that's not what Kevin Bannon wants. When you're up by 11 points against Syracuse, you want to shorten that clock as much as possible.
So Eton Thomas will step to the line to shoot the 1-on-1. Thomas leads Syracuse in field goal shooting percentage, block shots. Also 3rd in scoring and rebounding. He blocked 9 shots against UConn back on January 24th. That is a Syracuse record, also a season high in the Big East this year. Has a chance to cut it to 9, but can't. Rebound inside Bergen, can't get it to go. It's tipped up and in by Bergen. So now the lead is 8. This is the closest that Syracuse has been since falling behind by 21 in the first half.
Well, we got a couple of teams here, one with 20 wins that has to learn how to win when they're not playing well. And Rutgers, obviously with a sub-500 record, has to learn how to win when they're ahead.
Bergen with the steal, 2-on-2 with Hart. And Hart will circle the wagons. Bergen with a beautiful steal at the other end. Starts to drive, wants to dump it off, and it's called for the charge.
And sometimes this young man is the victim of trying to do too much. And a good job by Rutgers, 2 or 3 guys taking it up, offering the charge. Bergen, the last couple of possessions, getting himself active. Another good example of the use of the dribble. But look at both guys, Sanders and Tanese, closing down the gap.
3rd foul on Bergen. Syracuse now over the limit. That's 7. Hodgson loses the handle as he went up. Here's a lead pass. Thomas to Griffin.
Oh!
Finishes.
Where did that come from?
Talk about good ups. 7 points for Griffin. 22nd timeout, Kevin Bannon. And Syracuse is pulled within 6.
Well, we mentioned Syracuse was kind of like that golf cart, the easy go with the governor cap. You can never get down the fairway. Well, somebody took the cap off here. Griffin leading the pack. Look at Sanders licking his chops to block it, and up strong.
The Big East tournament will begin March 4th at Madison Square Garden. This is what the seedings would look like if the tournament started today. The winner of the Big East 7 figures to be the number 2 seed. Although Syracuse could catch UConn or St. John's. UConn and St. John's may be playing for that number 1 seed a week from tonight in Storrs when they meet, if neither stumbles between now and then.
Every game so important this time of the season, and a key between St. John's and West Virginia is who will get the bye and not have to attempt to play 4 games to win the tournament.
So the foul on Griffin, his 3rd. Syracuse now with 8 team fouls, so Rutgers will be shooting. The shooting percentage for Syracuse has picked up just a tad.
Well, both teams shooting very well, mostly because they're in the paint. Syracuse concentrating inside out, which is what we did not see anything in the first half.
So Earl Johnson will shoot the 1-on-1. 6 foot, 180 sophomore. Went to Trinity Catholic High School in Stamford, Connecticut. Lives in Port Chester, New York. High school teammate of UConn junior Rashamel Jones. And Johnson with the 2 free throws now with a dozen, so that ups the lead to 8. Syracuse, Hart with 4 fouls. Griffin, Bergen, and Unulis each with 3. For Rutgers, Greer, Sanders, and Clark each with 3. This could turn out to be a battle of attrition. And Rutgers isn't deep at all, and Syracuse has more bodies, but Jim Boeheim generally only plays 8. He's only played 7 tonight so far. Bergen in the lane, and he will get to the line. Was it Hodgson or Sanders? If it's Sanders, it's his 4th.
Well, Bergen, a lot of dribbling, getting himself into the paint. In the first half, Bob, we saw more Rutgers defenders assisting. Here, a lot of one-on-one until he gets right to the rim, and then Hodgson gets the foul on the arm. This is a tough part of the game. 9-10 minutes left to go. When you're up by 8 points, now 7, you're trying just to hang on until that 4-minute mark. And Syracuse, a veteran ball club, especially this young man, knows that they have time to chip away.
Foul on Hodgson, his 3rd. So now 4 Rutgers players with 3 fouls. 2 free throws by Bergen. He's got 14, and Syracuse again pulls within 6. A little over 9 minutes to go in the ball game. Johnson feeds for Clark, goes through his hands. Hodgson for 3. Rebound baseline Bergen for Syracuse. And now the Orange men with a chance to pull within 4 or maybe 3.
Those were the shots that were going down for the Scarlet Knights in the first half.
Down low, Thomas works on Clark, and is called for steps.
Good defense by the senior. Etan Thomas had not touched the ball in quite some time. He knew that he was going to take it aggressively, and he just held his own.
16 turnovers for Syracuse. It's about what they average. Around the screen, Billett receives the pass. On the switch now, defended by Bergen. Down low, Clark. Kick out, Hodgson. On the floor, tries to beat Thomas. Comes up the other way, and for Thomas, there's block number 100 on the air.
That was close to maybe a goaltending shot. I thought Hodgson got that ball off the glass quickly.
So again, Syracuse can trim that 6-point lead with some points here. Hart lost the handle, got it back, and Jim Boeheim wants a timeout. He also wants a foul. This will be a 20-second timeout. Bob Picozzi along with Mark Plansky in Piscataway, New Jersey, where Rutgers leads Syracuse 49-43. The Scarlet Knights had led by 21.
And this is the guy that's really taking good control on the offensive end. Hodgson getting to the weak side. Let's see what happens there. I'm not so sure. That ball's off the glass first, and then Thomas scrapes it off.
There we see Kevin Bannon, who did a great job at Trenton State. Division III school, coached them for 7 years, had them in the NCAA 4 times, had them in the NCAA finals his last year, and then he went to Rider, and in 8 years there he inherited a 5-win program and increased the victory total in each of his first 5 years. Eventually they went to the NCAA tournament twice. So following the 22nd timeout, Syracuse turns it over for the 17th time, and Rutgers with the ball and a 6-point lead as we are under the 8-minute mark. Billett on the right, defended by Hart, who's got 4 fouls. Billett spins, and it's blocked by Thomas. Lead pass to Bergen on Johnson, and he finishes, and the foul! The foul on Johnson is 3rd. Bergen with a chance to make it a 3-point play and cut the lead to 3.
Syracuse had done a great job working at that deficit on the half court. But here, the first time in a long time, Thomas able to send back the shot by Jeff Billett. And Bergen takes full advantage, getting out in front of the crowd and attempting to convert the 3-point play.
So Johnson becomes the 5th Rutgers player with 3 fouls. Bergen misses the free throw. So the lead is 4. And we are going to get a foul call on the rebound on Etan Thomas. Or are we?
I think the referee may have bailed out the Syracuse young sophomore and just said it's going to be Rutgers ball. Kevin Bannon can't believe he's not going to get a foul. He'd love to have Thomas pick up a couple of more.
So we get a timeout with 7:41 to go in the ball game, and that 21-point Rutgers lead is down to 4. Rutgers up 4. Kevin Bannon during the timeout wanted to know why there was no foul call, as he discusses it first with Will Bush and there with Andre Patillo. The call was simply timeout Syracuse. There had been a lot of contact and a lot of traffic. Jim Boeheim will be taking his club to its 18th NCAA tournament.
Yeah, Jimmy took a sip of the water because he's been working the sidelines extremely hard this evening and may have gotten away with one there. But Thomas sure looked like he grabbed Eric Clark as he was falling out of bounds.
So following the Syracuse timeout, it's Rutgers ball, up 4. They led by 21 in the first half. They led by 11 at the half. It's Johnson on the right. To Billett, shot clock at 10. Billett goes up in the air and dumps it off to Sanders, who is fouled by Griffin, and that will be his 4th.
Jeff Billett just can't catch a break. He can't catch a half a second to release his shot. 0 for 5. He's yet to score in the game, but that time a good job finding Todd Bergen's man, Sam Sanders, as Bergen came over to block the shot.
9 team fouls on Syracuse. Sanders had a big production off the bench in the first game against Syracuse. Misses the one here. He was 5 of 6 from the floor, had 5 rebounds, all in 16 minutes off the bench on January 4th at the Carrier Dome. This is Bergen for 3, and the lead is 1.
And he is jabbering on the way back. Confident senior making up for his lackadaisical or poor performance in the first half.
18-4 Syracuse run, 19 points for Bergen. Remember, he went the first 18 minutes without scoring. Clark down low, gives to Sanders. Nice give and go and baseline finish.
He may not be able to execute a foul shot, but when you get him to the rim, forget it. It's going to be in.
Sanders with 6 points, 2 dunks and a layup. 3-point Rutgers lead, under 6.5 to go. Bergen defended by Sanders. As they isolate on the right side now to Hart. Hart down the lane, and as he goes, he loses the handle. And if it's an offensive foul, Hart's gone, or are they just saying he lost the ball out of bounds?
It's a mirror of the last possession down here, Bob. They're just saying going the other way, Rutgers ball.
Well, that for Syracuse is a good thing, because had it been the charge, Hart would have been gone. As we approach the 6-minute mark, can Rutgers hang on? If they do, it certainly would be their biggest win of the year. They beat Temple earlier in the year when they were ranked 16th. And Johnson makes the shot.
He's the guy that can create his own shot. It's a different game when you're only up by 5 instead of 15. People have a tendency to get a little nervous. Not Earl Johnson took it strong.
Well, he's got 14, and he gets the crowd back into it. The crowd on its feet. The lead is 5. This is Blackwell. So Hart on the left. Around the screen comes Bergen. Kick out to Hart. Shot clock at 10. Hart with the pull-up. Got it.
Well, that was good defense, too. Great job by Jason Hart converting the 12-footer.
This is Johnson. Down low. Clark spins, loses his balance, and is called for traveling. That's the right call.
Very good call. Clark and Thomas have been battling on both ends.
A little over 5 minutes to go. 3-point lead for the Scarlet Knights. This is Hart, defended by Johnson. Here's to Unulis. Blackwell. Unulis hands to Bergen, dribbles off his hip and goes out of bounds. Last touch by Rutgers. Syracuse ball with 9 left in the shot clock. This is a big possession mark.
Rutgers doing a great job extending their defense. Syracuse may want to look for that back door. Look for Thomas sending an easy screen for somebody.
Bergen for 3. And inside, we're going to get a rebound over the top foul on Thomas. And that will be his 3rd. 10 team fouls on Syracuse, so Rutgers will be shooting 2.
Yeah, Thomas and Clark again battling, but it's Todd Bergen that may be a little quick on this shot. You can't fault the senior trying to take everything on his own shoulders. A little push off there, but plenty of time on the shot clock to make an easy pass, maybe a backdoor cut. Try to get the easy one first, Bob, and then work your way out.
Clark on the year, 61.4% shooter from the line. There you see what he's done tonight, and he misses the first. Clark, the 4th leading shot blocker in Rutgers history, is 6th in the Big East in block shots this year. Honored before the game on senior night here in Piscataway. Misses them both. So now Syracuse down 3 with the ball, under 5 minutes to play. Jason Hart playing with 4 personal fouls, defended by Johnson. This is Bergen, down low. Thomas has position inside, and he is fouled. Hodgson was there, Clark was there. One of them will get his 4th.
Good job, Jim Boeheim, applauding before he sits down. Basic basketball, Bob. Dump it down low. Clark knows he has 3 fouls. He doesn't want to pick up a silly one. Hodgson trying to come over. A lot of contact. Taking it up strong is Etan Thomas.
So the foul will not be on that man, but Hodgson. And it was Hodgson's 4th. Thomas 6 of 7 from the line tonight. Can pull his club within 1 if he makes them both. Bricks the first one.
Well, of course, Syracuse made it popular to shoot poorly from the free throw line in the last couple of years, number of years. But you mentioned earlier, 65, 66%, not bad, and they're going to have a lot more attempts before this game is over.
Syracuse 7th in the Big East in that department, although tonight, 16 of 21. Just under 80%. Thomas, very deliberate foul shooter. Missed them both. So we've seen both teams miss 2 free throws on each of the last possession. So again, Rutgers up 3 with the ball, under 4.5 to play. And Sanders loses the ball out of bounds. He and Johnson mixed up their signals. And as a result, the pass was a bit behind Sanders.
Both teams really extending the defense and leaving themselves open for the backdoor cut. I think Sanders was beginning to start that fake and go backdoor. Johnson not reading it. Through the pass, out and away.
This is Hart, stop and go dribble. Gives to Blackwell. Blackwell spins, but he stepped on the end line. And we mentioned that Rutgers earlier in the year beat Temple when Temple was ranked 16th. That was on the road. The last time Rutgers has beaten a top 25 ranked team here at home was December 7th, 1991 against UNLV. Hodgson down low. He's doubled. Tries to create space. When in doubt, throw it up. It might go in.
Again, never losing his composure. He kept his pivot foot down, able to snake his way between both defenders and got it in. I don't even think he saw the rim.
He's got 19, and the lead is 5.
And finally, the crowd back on its feet, and we got a TV timeout coming. Great time for a stop for Rutgers.
This is Bergen working on Sanders. Spins on him. Drive. Shoots over Clark, who might have altered it. Rebound Blackwell, and he is hammered. Clark was there. So was Sanders. And Blackwell will shoot a pair. Sam Sanders picks up his 4th.
Todd Bergen doing a good job again. Creating a lot of attention. And with Clark going for the block shot, that leaves both Thomas and Blackwell able to scoop up the garbage.
So Blackwell misses the first. This is first year at Syracuse after spending a year at Illinois. At least he's used to the color uniform, huh?
We touched on it earlier. That really makes this young man a freshman. He's just getting used to Syracuse. Came in hot. Able to knock down both free throws.
And pulls Syracuse within 3. We have a timeout as we take a look at Rob Hodgson in traffic with his Houdini move. 3:19 to go. It's Rutgers by 3.
It was a radical plan to create a quiet muffler that could also...
Back in Piscataway, New Jersey, where Rutgers leads Syracuse by 3. And Mark, we mentioned that it could be a war of attrition from here on in. Virtually everybody on both teams is in personal foul trouble. There may not be many left at the end of the night.
Well, you take a look at it. 4 guys, 1 foul from elimination. We got ourselves a 3-minute ball game, and Rutgers with a 3-point lead. It's going to be very interesting to see if they continue to milk that shot clock. It becomes harder and harder, Bob, to take 30 seconds off a 35-second shot clock when you're not used to winning. At 11 and 13, Rutgers has been used to being on the other side, the L side of these games.
Remember, Rutgers has 3 outstanding free throw shooters in Hodgson, Johnson, and Billett. Should that become a factor down the stretch, and should Syracuse need to foul, but it's way too early to do that. 3 minutes to go and only down 3. This is Johnson, defended by Hart. They do run the shot clock down this time. It's inside 10, and Johnson just lost the handle to Griffin. just squirted right out of his hand. So Griffin at the other end. Defended by Johnson. This is Hart looking down low. Thomas. Kick out back to Hart and right back into Thomas. Jump hook. The lead is one.
Great basketball right there. Inside out and then back inside after Thomas had a chance to back in. Clark another foot.
Thomas with 14, so this is the closest that Syracuse has been since falling behind by 21 in the first half. This is Hodgson defended by Blackwell. Goes baseline. Now gives up the dribble. Wants a timeout to avoid the 5-second call and gets the timeout with 14 left in the shot clock. 2:07 left in the game. And we're going to step aside with 2:07 to go. Rutgers leads Syracuse by 1. Etan Thomas making his presence known in the paint. The Scarlet Knights, well, I wouldn't say they're resting comfortably, not with a 1-point lead, but they have a chance to finish, and this would certainly be the most impressive win in the Kevin Bannon era, should they hang on. The timeout situation, Kevin Bannon down to just 1 full remaining. Jim Boeheim has 2 full and a 20, and both teams hopelessly over the limit, so everything will be a 2-shot situation.
The whistles have been active at the rack this evening.
And Syracuse in the 2-3 zone as Rutgers inbounds in the forecourt. Shot clock down to 7.
I like this 2-3 zone, changes it up.
Inside Clark, and he is fouled by Thomas, and Clark will shoot a couple in the big calling out with 4 fouls.
Good job by Clark getting good position on the post. And credit Johnson again with the bounce pass entry. Thomas got behind and an immediate move baseline. Good job by the senior.
Now Clark will shoot 2. He's just 1 of 4 from the line with his club up 1. Thomas joining the club now. 5 players on the 2 teams combined with 4 personal fouls. And Clark misses the first one.
Only a 61% foul shooter, but he's gone to the line more than anybody on his team. Need to get that ball up there. Extra arc when you're in the crunch time.
Misses them both. The rebound kept alive by Sanders, and Sanders draws a foul. So terrific work off the glass by the sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida.
Oh, both Hodgson and Sanders getting themselves active on the missed shot. Why not? Eric Clark now missing 4 in a row. You can see Syracuse, nobody really fundamentally boxing out. Bergen just stepped in the lane, and Sanders and Hodgson able to get themselves in the position to get their hands on the basketball.
And perhaps most importantly, Thomas departs. His 5th foul. He leaves with 14 points. So Sanders will shoot a couple with his club up 1. On the year, Sanders just 53.3% from the line. So Obchina will come in, and suddenly that size advantage for Syracuse is dramatically neutralized.
Well, when Rutgers is going to continue to look to take a lot of time off the clock, when they get a chance to get to the rim, you no longer have the Thomas shot blocking threat. Obchina's not going to throw anything back at a Rutgers Scarlet Knight coming down the lane.
So Sanders makes the first. Here we see Thomas's 5th foul.
You can see the activity of Sanders, but let's not forget Hodgson. He's the guy that was able to get the inside position to keep the ball alive.
And following the first free throw, Jim Boeheim wants timeout. 1:53 to go here at the rack. Rutgers by 2. You're watching Big East basketball. Back at the rack, Rutgers by 2, and the senior night crowd hoping that the Scarlet Knights can finish off Syracuse 56-54. And when play resumes, Sam Sanders will be at the line shooting the 2nd of 2 free throws. Rutgers just 5 of 11 from the line this half. But as we mentioned, they have 3 free throw shooters who compare favorably to anybody in the league in Hodgson and Billett and Johnson. Syracuse now with 1 full timeout and 1:20 remaining. Sanders misses the 2nd. Rebound Bergen. So a 2-point Rutgers lead. Under 2 minutes to go. Syracuse with a chance to tie. The Orangemen have never led. They fell behind by 21 in the first half. This is Bergen working on Sanders. To Hart. Defended by Billick. Spins down the lane. Avcino, wide open jump. Sanders soars for the rebound with 1:25 remaining.
Well, the big guy was open, but you know that's not where Jimmy Boeheim wanted the shot to come from.
Avcino actually is a pretty good open shooter for a big man, although his numbers would belie that this year, only shooting 35% from the floor.
But down.
Sanders for three. Wow. Mark, what was that about? That would be option last if I'm Kevin Banner.
He saved himself from getting the hook. Good hustle after the missed shot. You do not need that. You're up 2 with a minute left to go. Sam Sanders, as you mentioned, not the most efficient three-point marksman on the Rutgers team. They got lucky. Get the ball back with the full shot clock, and he does get the hook.
As Greer replaces him. Sanders, an outstanding defensive player, but shooting range is not his strength.
You know, down the other end, Bob, you got Todd Bergen with 19 points. Nobody else on the. You should take a look at the conversation.
Kevin asking him the same question I asked you. What was that? Inbound to Greer. He's doubled, and I think Rutgers got a timeout to avoid a hell ball situation, so there is a timeout.
Earl Johnson sprinting to the referee with his freshman teammate trapped. What a great job. Heads up call by Earl Johnson with the timeout.
And Rutgers is now out of timeouts with 1:01 to go. Out of town tonight in the Big East. 7th-ranked UConn playing Villanova at the Coors State Center. And UConn up 4 in the second half with 1:15 to go. UConn needing a win to remain a game ahead of St. John's in the Big East 6. And UConn will host St. John's on senior night for the Huskies a week from tonight at Gamble Pavilion. We mentioned that should it come down to a situation where Syracuse has to foul to put someone at the line, these are 3 candidates not to put there.
Yeah, and you got to think that Syracuse has those 3 names on the chalkboard. Do not touch these guys. You know, take a look at Rutgers' huddle right there. With 1 minute and 1 second to go, you've got a 2-point lead. You've got to be very careful not to get too hesitant with the basketball. We saw a good double-team trap by the Orangemen the first time down. I'm not so sure Kevin Bannon's not diagramming up a simple basketball play, expecting the 2-3 zone trap coming out of the timeout.
Well, thus far tonight, every time that Rutgers has thrown the ball inbounds in the forecourt, Syracuse has zoned it with a 2-3.
2-3 coming out of the baseline, and they're known for that quick trap on the baseline in the corner, and it can cause some havoc if you're not ready for it. But you take a look at the 5 guys on the court for Rutgers. They've all been playing a lot of minutes this game, Bob, especially this guy Hodgson, very cool under pressure.
Bob Picozzi with Mark Plansky on senior night at Rutgers, where the Scarlet Knights, just 5-11 in the league, trying to hang on. They lead 17th-ranked Syracuse by 2. Rutgers has led throughout, led by as many as 21. 33 seconds left on the shot clock for the Scarlet Knights, having trouble inbounding. Remember, no timeouts left. Comes to Billick. Now Syracuse does not have to foul, not yet anyway. Cross court to Greer for 3. Hey!
Talk about your big shots, the freshman. Huge confidence.
And Bergen tries to answer. Rebound Hart, baseline, comes around the other side, blocked by Clark. It's loose, comes to Avcino. 5-point Rutgers lead. Half minute to go. Bergen starts to drive and was fouled as he headed toward the hoop. Doesn't matter whether he was in the act of shooting. Rutgers in the double bonus, so everything will be a 2-shot situation. Those were Greer's first points of the night.
I'm not so sure this was not a diagram play. Good job by Johnson with the skip pass. How about the confidence? Never hesitated. Look down, step back, and nothing but nylon.
So Johnson with the foul, his 4th. Greer, the Big East Rookie of the Week. Bergen 6 of 8, make it 6 of 9 from the line. As he misses the first.
Obviously a large missed free throw. Now they're going to have to foul immediately and not have the luxury to go for the steal first.
And again, we will remind you, should Rutgers get into trouble bringing the ball up the floor, the Scarlet Knights have no timeouts left.
And the possession arrow is in favor of the Orangemen.
Bergen 1 of 2 from the line, cuts the lead to 4 with a half minute to go. Shot clock is off, so Syracuse has to foul here. And Billups called for traveling.
I think it was the right call. It was a little quick, though. He did drag his pivot foot, almost like the referee expected him or was waiting for him to drag the pivot foot. Good job by Syracuse. Quick trap.
So Giannouli's second in Rutgers' career in three-point field goals made comes in replacing Griffin. Bergen, kick out to Hart for three. Misses everything. Bergen follows, blocked by Greer. Baseline, knocked it out of bounds. Syracuse ball. 15 seconds left, down 4. Jim Boeheim has one full timeout and 1:20 left. It's a 2-possession game. So they don't need a 3 here, but they do need something very quickly.
15.7 seconds. You need an immediate jump shot out of bounds is what you need.
Kevin Bannon playing offense, defense with the substitution. Sanders comes back in, and Jim Boeheim will take his 20 here. So Syracuse now with just one full timeout left. What do you try to set up? Have Bergen come off the screen?
I think that's a great call, especially with Sanders substituting coming into the game. You know that he's going to go for any type of ball fake, Bob. So if Todd Bergen can find himself open off the screen, maybe show the ball and jump into him. And especially if you're behind the arc, that gets you 3 chippies at the foul line with the clock stopped.
And if Syracuse can score and does not steal the inbound pass, I imagine Sanders is the guy you want to foul.
In pressure games like this, I used to always love to show a ball fake because as you're a defender, if you have a reputation as a defender, you're going to try to stop Todd Bergen. You're going to leave your feet, get behind the arc, and try to draw the foul.
Sanders is defending Bergen. Blackwell to throw the pass inbounds. Defended by Hodgson. Off the screen, it's Hart. This is a 3. Got it! So the lead is 1. 14 seconds left. And Syracuse will call time.
Well, everybody, including us, thought that Todd Bergen was going to get the ball, but Jason Hart left wide open, coming around Bergen's screen, and nothing but net. Great shot.
As we get another look off the inbound.
Well, you can see Johnson kind of got caught early on.
Bergen set the pick.
Wide open. Good look. You know, you can see Sanders expecting Bergen to come off the screen. Johnson just was slow out of the blocks. Right in rhythm was Hart's 3-point shot. Nothing but net.
Now, one thing this Syracuse timeout does that maybe they don't want it to do, they certainly don't want it to do, it will give Kevin Bannon a chance to get Sanders out of the game. I would be shocked if Sanders were still on the floor because being just a 53% shooter from the line, one would assume that Syracuse would want to put him on the line. It also looks like LaShawn Howard is going in defensively for Syracuse, so he will be the man to try to commit the foul. UConn hangs on to beat your alma mater, Mark. 83-76, so that makes the Huskies now 13-3 in the league.
And my producer wants me to make a comment about that being a Villanova alumni, but Eric Postman, the producer of today's game, a Syracuse alumni, he's nervous in the truck right now, Bobby. 14 seconds left, down 1.
Well, he had packed it in when they were down by 21. Talk about a front runner.
Typical Syracuse alumni, you know. A dime a dozen. Bandwagonaires, nothing but.
So as I mentioned, with LaShawn Howard will report into the game for the first time for Syracuse, so he'll be the man to commit the foul if Syracuse doesn't steal the inbound, because everybody on the floor just about is in personal foul trouble. So if you're going to foul, well, now wait a minute, he's not going to foul back there because he's going all the way down the end of the floor, and there's only one near him is Clark, unless they play home run ball, and I doubt they'll do that. Hodgson runs the baseline. He can do it. Remember, no timeouts left. And we will get a foul on Syracuse before the ball is inbound. If you're going to foul, you might as well do it then. Don't let any time go off the clock.
Especially when both teams are well over the limit and they're going to get 2 shots anyways. Might as well preserve the 14 seconds that you have up there on the clock.
But why foul when Rutgers had yet to throw the ball inbounds? And, you know, I'm not suggesting a 5-second call was imminent, but they were approaching it.
Well, the referees take close attention to the defense on the full court pressure. Whenever you have your hands on the uniforms, they're going to make that call.
So Greer at the line, his first visit to the line tonight. On the year, Greer just 57.4%. So Syracuse does have someone on the line that they want there. It's not Johnson, it's not Hodgson, and it's not Billett. So this will be 2 shots. Makes the first, and even if he makes the second, it will be a 1-possession game. And Sanders will now check back in for defense. Howard and Griffin lead for Syracuse. Giannoulis and Avcina back in. Giannoulis, Syracuse's best 3-point threat. And if Greer makes the second, they're going to need the 3. And he does.
Cool, under pressure. That's 5 big points by the freshman. Good offense, defense. Substitution here allows Rutgers to set up and not let Syracuse run out of control in the transition.
Syracuse 5 of 17 from behind the arc tonight. They need a 3 with 14 seconds to go. This is Hart. Gives up the dribble, gives to Bergen with 8. Defended by Sanders for the tie. Can't get it to fall. Rebound Billett. They have to foul. They do with 3.1. So now Rutgers up 3, and they have the man they want at the foul line. Jeff Billett, who on the year is 71 of 85 from the free throw line.
Well, Syracuse gets it to their man, Todd Bergen. Obviously, Sanders doing a good job. There was a lot of time left in the clock, a good 6 or 7 seconds. Not a bad shot attempt there, but as you can see, Syracuse not in position to even get a shot at the offensive rebound.
So Billett has played 39 minutes and 56.9 seconds, and he hasn't scored, and he has a chance to put it away here. And one free throw will do just that. Can you believe?
Well, the first one's always the toughest, and with the luxury of having 2 automatics, you've got to think the guy that's shooting 84% will knock this down, nothing but net.
The lead is 3, so a free throw would make it a 2-possession game with 3.1 left and ice it. If he misses, suddenly the door is open. Junior from Middletown, New Jersey, eyes the hoop and puts it away. Bergen inbound to Giannoulis. He throws up a 3, and Rutgers has upset Syracuse for the biggest win early in the Kevin Bannon era. The first time in 7 years they've beaten a ranked team here at home.
Rutgers came out strong with a 15-point lead most of the first half and hung on. They found a way to win. Syracuse obviously going to get hurt by this loss, but look at the guys at the rack. Enjoying the victory by the Scarlet Knights.
So Rutgers now 12 and 13 on the year, 6 and 11 in the Big East as the senior night sellout crowd storms the floor. Syracuse drops to 20 and 6, 10 and 5 in Big East play, and suddenly Miami within a game of Syracuse in the Big East 7.
And you talk about the Big East 7 and the Big East tournament coming up. How would you like to play this Rutgers team first round as 6th or 7th seed in the Big East tournament? I don't think so. Great win by Kevin Bannon.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. The final again, Rutgers 62, Syracuse 58. For Mark Plansky, I'm Bob Picozzi. Thanks for watching, and good night from New Jersey.